Hello and welcome to Life Lessons Hr Mukesh. My name is Mukesh, and today we're diving into a book that has truly revolutionized how we think about habits and personal growth. Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book isn't just about willpower or motivation. It's about building a system that makes good habits inevitable and bad ones impossible. Clear offers practical, powerful strategies to form good habits, break bad ones, and master the tiny behaviors that lead to remarkable results. Whether you're aiming to improve your health, your work, or your overall life satisfaction, the principles in this book can guide you on a transformative journey. Imagine this. What if you could improve every aspect of your life by just 1% each day? What if tiny, seemingly insignificant changes could lead to extraordinary results over time? In Atomic Habits, James Clear reveals the hidden power of small habits and how they can compound into life-changing outcomes. If you've ever struggled to make lasting changes or wondered how successful people build their habits, this summary is for you. So let's dive in and unlock the power of Atomic Habits together. The surprising power of Atomic Habits. In 2003, British cycling was at a low point. Since 1908, British riders had won only one gold medal in the Olympic Games, and for over a century, no British cyclist had won the Tour de France. Their performance was so dismal that top bike manufacturers refused to sell bikes to the team, fearing it would tarnish their brand. But everything changed when the governing body for professional cycling in Britain hired coach Dave Brailsford. What set him apart was his unwavering commitment to a strategy he called the aggregation of marginal gains. This strategy meant seeking small improvements in every tiny detail. Brailsford began making small adjustments, redesigning bike seats for more comfort, having riders wear electrically heated overshorts to maintain ideal muscle temperature, and even rubbing alcohol on the tires for better grip. These small changes led to significant improvements. In the 2008 Beijing Olympics, the team performed exceptionally well, and the British cycling team went on to dominate the sport. How did an ordinary team become world champions with just a few small tweaks? It's because we often underestimate the power of these tiny improvements. A 1% improvement each day for a year can make you 37 times better by the end of the year. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Their impact doesn't show up in a day or a week, but after months and years of consistent practice, the results become undeniable. Unfortunately, this also works in reverse for bad habits. If you eat an unhealthy meal today, you won't see a change on the scale. But if you repeat that behavior daily, the toxic results will eventually become visible. Success or failure isn't determined by a single event, but by the direction of your habits. They determine if you're moving in the right direction or not. How your habits shape your identity and vice versa. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to break bad habits and so difficult to adopt good ones? Despite our best intentions, we often fail to change. According to Clear, there are two main reasons. First, we try to change the wrong things, and second, our approach isn't effective. Many people start the change process by focusing on what they want to achieve, which leads to outcome-based habits. But a more effective approach is to build identity-based habits, which focus on who you want to become. Consider two people trying to quit smoking. When the first person is offered a cigarette, they say, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." This seems reasonable, but it implies they still see themselves as a smoker who is trying to be something else. Their behavior is changing, but their core belief remains the same. The second person, when offered a cigarette, simply responds, "No thanks, I don't smoke." This subtle shift in phrasing changes everything. They no longer identify as a smoker. How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. In the late 1800s, psychologist Edward Thorndike conducted an experiment with cats in a puzzle box to study how habits form. The cats would eventually figure out how to press a lever to escape and get food. After repeated trials, they learned to go directly to the lever as soon as they were placed in the box, demonstrating a habitual behavior. The more you feel proud of a certain aspect of yourself, the more motivated you'll be to adopt new habits that reinforce that identity. You just need to decide who you want to be, and by making small changes in your habits, you can prove it to yourself. Thorndike's discovery, known as the law of effect, states that behaviors followed by satisfying outcomes are likely to be repeated, while those with unfavorable outcomes are less likely to be repeated. Building on this, Clear explains that the process of creating a habit can be broken down into 4 simple steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue triggers your brain to start a behavior. It's a signal that hints at a potential reward. For example, the smell of a freshly baked cookie is a cue. Craving. This is the motivational force behind every habit. You don't crave the cookie itself, you crave the feeling of satisfaction it provides. Cravings drive our actions. Response. The response is the actual habit you perform, eating the cookie. Whether you act or not depends on your motivation and the effort required. Reward. The reward is the end goal. It satisfies your craving and teaches your brain which actions are worth remembering in the future. The cue notices the reward. The craving wants the reward, and the response achieves the reward. By understanding and working with this loop, you can design better habits and break bad ones. The first law, make it obvious. The best way to start a new habit is to make it obvious. In a 2001 study, researchers found that people who created a specific plan for when and where they would exercise were far more likely to stick with their workout routine. They wrote down a sentence like, "During the next week I will engage in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on day at time in place." This simple act of creating an implementation intention, a plan made in advance, increased their follow-through rate from under 40% to over 90%. Many people think they lack motivation, but often they just lack clarity. Being specific about your intentions provides practical cues for your habits. Your environment also plays a huge role. At Massachusetts General Hospital, a physician named Anne Thorndike improved the eating habits of staff and visitors without changing their motivation. She simply rearranged the cafeteria. They moved water bottles to prominent locations and put sodas in less accessible places. Over 3 months, soda sales dropped by 11%, while bottled water sales increased by over 25%. People didn't choose what to eat because they wanted it, but because it was right in front of them. To foster good habits, design your environment to promote them. If you want to drink more water, place water bottles around your living space. To read more, leave books where you spend a lot of time. The secret to self-control isn't about having more discipline. It's about avoiding tempting situations. A study of US soldiers in Vietnam showed that a high percentage were addicted to heroin. However, when they returned to the US and their environment changed, their addiction often vanished because the cues were gone. Disciplined people are better at life because they structure their environments to remove temptation. To make good habits obvious, put the cues for them front and center. To make bad habits invisible, remove the cues for them from your environment. The second law, make it attractive. How can you make a habit irresistible? Simple. Pair an action you need to do with an action you want to do. This is called temptation bundling. For example, an electrical engineering student named Ronan Byrne loved watching Netflix, but knew he needed to exercise. He created a program that only let him watch Netflix if he was pedaling at a certain speed on his stationary bike. This works because it uses the Premax principle, which states you're more likely to perform a less desirable activity if it's linked to a more desirable one. If you enjoy listening to audiobooks but need to work out, only let yourself listen to your favorite audiobook while exercising. Our friends and family also play a huge role in shaping our habits. We imitate the behaviors of those close to us. One study found that if one of your friends is obese, your chances of becoming obese increase by 57%. The best thing you can do is join a culture where your good habits are welcomed and encouraged. You can also make a habit more attractive by reframing your mindset. Instead of saying, "I have to wake up to go to work," try, "I get to wake up to go to work." This simple change in language highlights the benefits of your habit, making it more appealing. The third law, make it easy. The key to forming a habit is consistent repetition, not the amount of time you spend on it. To create any habit, you need to practice it consistently. The goal is to reduce the friction associated with starting a new habit. Start with small, manageable steps. If you want to start exercising, begin with just a few minutes a day, not an hour-long workout. The law of least effort states that humans will naturally choose the path of least resistance. Our brains are wired to conserve energy. The solution is to create an environment where doing the right thing is as easy as possible. Meal delivery services reduce the friction of grocery shopping. Dating apps reduce the friction of social introductions. To stop procrastinating, use the 2-minute rule. This rule states that when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Read before bed every night. becomes read one page before bed every night. 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. The point is to make the start of the habit so easy that you can't say no. Once you start, the first 2 minutes become a ritual that leads into a larger routine. To make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible, you need to design your environment strategically. For instance, to make writing easy, open a blank document on your laptop so it's ready to go when you sit down. To make watching less TV easier, unplug the TV after each use and take the batteries out of the remote. This increases the friction for the bad habit. The fourth law, make it satisfying. The cardinal rule of behavior change is simple. Behaviors that get rewarded get repeated, and behaviors that get punished get avoided. When an experience is satisfying, we're more likely to repeat it. So the challenge is that bad habits often provide immediate pleasure, while good habits can be challenging and only provide long-term benefits. We tend to prefer immediate gratification over future rewards. To make good habits satisfying, you need to make the end of a behavior enjoyable. Track your progress. Using a habit tracker, journal, or app provides a visual cue and an immediate sense of accomplishment. Seeing tangible evidence of your progress is incredibly motivating. Reward yourself. Create a reward system for completing a habit. For example, after a workout, treat yourself to a delicious smoothie. Use visual cues. A jar where you add a coin each time you complete a habit can be very satisfying to watch fill up. Make it fun. Find ways to make the habit itself enjoyable. If you want to exercise, choose a sport or activity you love. Habit tracking is a powerful tool because it uses multiple laws of behavior change. It makes the habit obvious, attractive, and satisfying. It keeps your focus on your goals and provides a sense of accountability. An accountability partner can also be a game changer. The more immediate and costly a mistake is, the more likely you are to learn from it. Knowing that someone is watching and will hold you accountable makes you less likely to delay your work. This creates a system of external support that helps you stay on track. Advanced tactics, how to go from good to great. When you practice a habit long enough, it can start to feel routine and boring. This boredom is one of the greatest challenges you'll face. The truth is, it doesn't matter what you want to get better at. If you only do it when it excites you, you won't achieve great results. Professionals stick with it even when it's painful, boring, or exhausting. To go from good to great, you must embrace boredom. Understand that not every moment will be exciting, and keep pushing through. This is where true growth happens. You also need to engage in deliberate practice, which means practicing with the intent to improve and focusing on the aspects that challenge you the most. Continuously seek feedback and reflect on your performance. Don't let your habits become automatic to the point that you stop improving. By incorporating these tactics, you can push past the initial excitement and routine of your habits and continue to improve, achieving truly great results. Thank you for listening to this audiobook summary of Atomic Habits by James Clear. I hope you found these insights and strategies helpful, and that you're inspired to start making small positive changes in your life. Remember, success isn't a single monumental event. It's a series of small, consistent actions taken over time. By focusing on the process, not just the outcome, and by applying the 4 laws of behavior change, making your good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, you can create a system that supports continuous improvement and success. If you enjoyed this summary and found it valuable, please consider subscribing to our channel, Life Lessons Hr Mukesh, and sharing it with your friends and family. Your support helps us bring more content like this to you. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know which habits you're planning to build or change using the principles from Atomic Habits. Until next time, keep striving for progress, not perfection, and watch as your efforts compound into extraordinary results. Thank you, and take care. Of behavior change, making your good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, you can create a system that supports continuous improvement and success. If you enjoyed this summary and found it valuable, please consider subscribing to our channel, Life Lessons Hr Mukesh, and sharing it with your friends and family. Your support helps us bring more content like this to you. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know which habits you're planning to build or change using the principles from Atomic Habits. Until next time, keep striving for progress, not perfection, and watch as your efforts compound into extraordinary results. Thank you, and take care.